Hey guys, it's Miranda, and today I am going to be doing a tag that my friend Bailey created and tagged me in called the lame lung tag. Her idea with creating this tag was kind of just based on the questions that us CFers get asked on a regular basis, whether it be from someone that doesn't know much about CF and is learning, or another CFer that's trying to just kind of figure out how their own CF compares to another's, or just different things that we could do for treatments and stuff like that. So without further ado, let's jump into the questions. So I have several different rooms in my apartment that I have kind of specifically dedicated to a different kind of treatment or something that I do. In this corner over here, I have my vest. I have a fan by it, so if I'm coughing and I have bad hot flashes or something, it'll help cool me off so I don't get to the point that I throw up, or, so I can breathe. I have this awesome beanbag chair thing that really just fits comfortably with the vest, so I'm not as uncomfortable as I could be, and it just makes it easier. Over here, underneath my nightstand, I have a giant box of the majority of my medication. I have it separated between ones I take for allergies, ones I take with food, ones I take at nighttime, which I do take a majority of my pills at nighttime. Different vitamins, different supplements, kind of just all in their own little categories inside of this box. So when I'm going to grab something, it's easier for me to know which one I'm grabbing just by looking at the top of it. I have 2 of my nebulized drugs in my fridge, kind of in one dedicated compartment. And I have this rolling tray with 3 layers in my living room that I have my nebulizer machine, kind of the old standard one, my e-flow that I use for my Caiston, and I also use as my main nebulizer machine when I'm traveling. I have my Hypersal, my albuterol, and also my Topi pod in that as well. And in the bottom of it, I have just a big bowl of spare nebulizers and hoses, Kleenex, cups, just things that needed somewhere to go. I put a place for it that it's already with what I need it to be with. I have 2 baselines that I kind of count as one. I have one for my CF, and then I have one for my overall health, because I do have other things that impact my life and my health other than just my CF, which also impacts my CF. So I have a lot of things contradicting each other pretty much. And my CF baseline, I'm right underneath it at the moment. In the last couple of years, my FEV1 baseline has dropped, but it's still in the kind of high 70s, low 80s range. But when I get sick, it'll go to the 50s, 40s, 30s, and somehow I'm able to get it back up. I do in my x-rays. I wish I had a picture of my x-rays like Bailey was talking about in her video. If you had a picture of my x-ray of my lungs and then a picture of kind of a healthier CF person, one of a healthy person, and then also a picture of someone that was listed about to have a transplant. My lung function when I'm at my baseline might be at the healthier CF person baseline, but my x-rays show some days more scar tissue and damage than most x-rays I've seen of people that are transplant listed. And my doctors, it's been this way for a good 8 or 9 years. We have no idea why I have so much scar tissue, or how I got it, or how I'm able to function the way I am lung function wise with my numbers when I do have so much damage. So that does impact you know, my numbers may be all right, but I don't count that as my baseline. My baseline I count as how much I'm able to do during a day. So for instance, when I'm at my healthier baseline, I'm not in as much chronic pain during the day. I'm not coughing until I get really bad hot flashes or throwing up or just all of those things that come along with really bad coughing fits as often throughout the day. Sometimes I might be really healthy, but that will happen 1 or 2 times a day. I have more energy during the day to do the things I want to do. Really, my baseline is when I can try to act like a normal person and get away with it. Also, I consider my baseline when I don't like kind of pee on myself every time I cough. Because you know that like I'm getting sick when that starts to happen. I do use my vest. I have one of those massager things you can get at, what is the name? Brookstone. I do have one of those massager, I'll get it. I've recently been blessed with boobs that I didn't really have before. So because of that, whenever I'm doing my vest, it pushes everything up here and nothing here gets taken care of. And I mean, you can do manual there as much as you want, but it can be really painful at times. So we got this thing and it kind of just fits exactly where I need it to. And when you put it up to the highest setting, it does work. And I do get the mucus that's there out that needs to come out. So I'm very grateful for this thing. And whenever I'm really just not feeling well and I feel like my vest or that isn't doing enough, my mom will come over and she'll do manual on me. And when I was younger, I used to have one of those suction cup compressor things that looked like it would hurt. It would really, really hurt. But I used to have one. I think I still have it at my parents' house, but I don't know where it is. I do have a flutter. Don't know where that is, but that doesn't really work for me. So I just really don't bother with it. The one that I referenced earlier, but also I don't remember if I said when I get a migraine with my headaches, whenever I mentioned that. I had this cough yesterday and it was absolutely awful. I coughed until I had, every time I would breathe or cough, my head would just pound and I couldn't open my eyes, and then it turned into this awful hot flash, and then the gagging started. Luckily I was able to do weird breathing until the gagging stopped, so I didn't throw up. But those are my least favorite coughs. It's just kind of the ones that just make everything in your body spaz out and you really have no control over anything that happens. We don't know when my fibromyalgia started. We do know that an infection can cause it, physical trauma, mental trauma, all kind of things. Pretty much anything that causes it I have experienced. So to know what exactly caused it, we don't know, but every time I get sick, it does get worse. So there's that. I have arthritis, so my joints are incredibly affected, which kind of has come along with the excess medications and stuff over the years. It just made it worse. My pancreas is affected, and I do take about 4 to 5 enzymes every time I eat, depending on what it is I'm eating. A bigger meal, I will take 5, a smaller meal or a snack, I take 4. My blood sugar also goes all over the place whenever I have an infection, but for the most part it stays really, really low, and out of nowhere I'll just start shaking and I have to eat like immediately, or things just get really bad and I get these really bad anxiety attacks from it. It's not pretty. My digestive system up until this past year was incredibly affected. Up until I changed my diet to kind of trick my body into knowing how to absorb food or whatever, I was in the negative BMI. I was way below where the graph shows anyone should be. So up until this past year, that part for me just wasn't happening. But now I'm almost at the 22nd percentile, which is phenomenal. And yeah, so that right now for me is not an issue. My sinuses are also incredibly affected. I think it was about 3 months ago now, I had my 12th sinus surgery in the last 4 years. So that for sure is something that is really, it's not okay, but we deal with it. I am blessed with the best ENT in the world, and yeah, she's saved my sinuses and or life on numerous occasions. With the excess coughing, it does affect my diaphragm, my rib cage, my bladder, and oddly enough my uterus, which it's not really that odd, but because my bladder is affected. But yeah, it's still not something many people talk about or something a normal 20-year-old has to deal with. Whenever I have really bad coughing fits, like when I am sicker, my ribs start to bow out and it causes excruciating pain and also causes my scoliosis to get worse. It will flip my diaphragm to where I am constantly nauseous and always in pain, and every time I cough I will throw up because it just won't go the way it needs to go, and it makes it really difficult to breathe. Like I mentioned earlier, whenever I cough a lot, I end up peeing on myself, and we found out that my bladder is dropped a pretty great deal, but there's nothing really we can do about it, because if I have surgery for it, I'll just cough and it'll go right back to where it is, and it would just be a vicious cycle. So there's that I occasionally do have to deal with. And whenever I was really sick 1.5 years ago and I was at 30% lung function and just really coughing, I moved, I coughed. It's just what happened. I did cough to the point that my uterus started to come out of my body. It was right before I had my cervix surgery that had a growth that we don't know where that came from. So that happened. It was a thing. But yeah, so long story kind of not really short, my entire body's affected. So on that note, we are going to wrap this tag up. And I just want to take a second to thank Bailey for making this. I think it's a great idea to kind of get a person by person knowledge on CF, and to show that all of our bodies are different and each of us are affected in a different way. I do want to tag a couple of my friends in this. Also, if there are any of you out there that want to do this, you are more than welcome to. I am going to leave the questions in the description box below, along with everyone that I've mentioned's channels and the videos that they make. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.